Hello, and welcome to 10 Minutes That Can Change Your Life. This program is brought to you each week by the Port Huron Church of Christ, located at 756 17th Street, right here in the city of Port Huron. We want to thank you for tuning in today, and if you enjoy this program, we would like for you to do us a big favor and spread the word by sharing it with your friends on Facebook. We would really appreciate it, and we thank you in advance. Today, we want to discuss a critical element in every relationship, and that is forgiveness. Forgiveness is the same record with two sides. A record is how we used to listen to music. You know, that was long before MP4s and streaming came along. It was a round disc made out of vinyl, and it had a side A and a side B. There was one song on side A and a different one on side B. Well, sorry for a little recordology. That was for our younger viewers. Let's get back to forgiveness. One side of forgiveness is for the guilty person who messed up. And after realizing they did something wrong, it's up to them to ask the offended party to forgive them. Side two of our record is on the offended party to accept the forgiveness of the guilty party. This is a critical point of forgiveness. So listen carefully, because if you miss what I'm about to say, forgiveness will not and cannot work. Are you ready? Here we go. If either the guilty party or the offended party fail to execute their role in forgiveness, forgiveness cannot happen, and the relationship will remain broken until both parties execute their respective roles. Did you get that? You see, let me see if I can give you an example. If I can humble myself and ask you to forgive me, and if you refuse to accept my apology, technically our relationship is still broken. Also, watch this. If I know that I am wrong and refuse to ask your forgiveness, you got it. Our relationship is still broken. So, it takes both parties to desire reconciliation. That simply means if both parties want to restore the relationship, they will be eager to do their part in executing forgiveness so they can move on in their relationship. Remember, and this is very important, if either chooses not to cooperate, the relationship stalls at that point and cannot move any further. You know, forgiveness is a very unique animal, because I know people who can be as wrong as two left shoes, and they will absolutely refuse to say, "I'm sorry, please forgive me." You know, actually, they would rather eat moldy bread and drink rusty water than to admit wrong. Now, if you encounter people like this or have these people already in your life, you have my sympathy, because you are going to have a very difficult relationship with them. Let me tell you why. You see, what happens is one person ends up carrying all of the weight of the relationship, since the other person refuses to carry their part. This makes life difficult, especially if leaving the relationship with such a person is complicated and not easy to do. The best hope in this scenario is to remain optimistic, hoping they will eventually come to a place where they will change. One can only hope. So here, let me give you 9 reasons why forgiveness is important to your relationships. Number 1, it tells the other person the relationship has value to you. You know, if you can offend your friends at will without giving it a second thought, after a while, you're going to lose those friendships. But when we practice forgiveness, we demonstrate to each other the value of our friendship. Number two, it demonstrates to the offended party that you are not too proud to admit your fault. Look, being human, we all make mistakes, either by what we say or what we do. If you want others to admit they're wrong and ask your forgiveness, you have to do the same to them. Forgiveness keeps everyone honest. Number three, it frees the offended party of unnecessarily carrying guilt that will eventually eat away at their hearts. You know, people who refuse to admit fault and take responsibility for their actions by apologizing oftentimes will not see the light until one day when they are involved in themselves in a relationship with another person who, like them, also refuses to admit fault. It is then they suddenly get 20/20 vision and clearly understand the damage they did in previous relationships, which they now experience in their current painful situation. It's kind of like looking in the mirror and finally seeing what you really look like. Number four, forgiveness is the only way to transform anger and hurt into healing and peace for both parties. It gives you a place and a way to reconcile your situation so peace can be restored. Forgiveness practice in a relationship is a beautiful thing. Number five, failing to forgive or ask for forgiveness locks you into a type of prison of which there is no escape. Now, you can ignore the facts for as many years as you wish, but the fact will always weigh on your heart that you didn't do something you know that you were too stubborn to do. And so now you suffer still and will continue to do so. Number six, reconcile quickly. If you commit wrong, seek forgiveness. If you have been wronged, grant forgiveness and do it quickly. The longer you take to arrive at forgiveness, it becomes much like a heart attack. The longer it takes to get the heart out of attack, the more potential irreversible damage is going to happen to the heart. So reconciling quickly removes the possibility of complications that can get in the way and make reconciliation difficult. Reconcile quickly. Number seven, and I love this one. Forgiveness is not a sign of weakness. I'm going to say it again. Forgiveness is not a sign of weakness. In fact, it's just the opposite. It takes more strength to say I am sorry than it does to act like you don't need to. Actually, not asking for forgiveness when you know you should is a clear sign of cowardice. Number eight, forgiveness keeps your relationship healthy and honest. And number nine, failing to accept another person's attempt at forgiveness is like holding your breath, hoping the other person will die. Because all you end up doing is hurting yourself. I hope by now you are beginning to see the power of saying, I am sorry, please forgive me, as well as, yes, I forgive you. Lastly, the challenge of forgiveness, once given and accepted, the case is closed and is no longer a subject open for discussion. Forgiveness buries the wrong, the hurt, the pain, and all of the negative emotions associated with the act by the wrongful party. And listen, let that which is buried stay buried. There's nothing to gain by continuing to dig it up and hold the other person hostage by past mistakes. Look, if you choose to forgive, you are also choosing to let it go from this point on. It's done, it's over with. And that's the power of forgiveness. So listen, I assure you, if you take these few words to heart and put them into practice in your relationships, you can change your life 10 minutes at a time. This is Lamar Black, the minister of the Port Huron Church of Christ, located at 756 17th Street in Port Huron, saying thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you right here next week. So until then, stay in and stay safe.